the cryptocurrency market is bouncing back up high. Now, the question is it really a dead cat bounce, or are we going higher? Are we going to the upside from here? Are we going to trend higher? So you come here to look at the cryptocurrency fear and greed index. This one is for Bitcoin. And you can see here that the extreme fear which we had last time when we talked about this, which was at 10, now improved. We are now somewhere close to 22. So if you remember this, the story goes something like this. You come to the downside, you stay there a little bit of time, then you go back up. So while we are here, 10, 20, that range in extreme end, people tend to forget about these days. Say when the index is like 90, 95, that range. Say, we had even peaked somewhere close to this 95. Now that's one off. But majority of the time when you go up, you kind of get to see about 90. And remember, right now you are at 22. So what happens? Say you go into a shorter term one, you can look at the 7 days chart and you can see, yes, we did see 10 and then we moved up. So if you take a step back and look at it, this is how it actually looks. Say you trended down, you went down, 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 and then you came up. Now this up is a high than this one, so that's a new high. Great. It came low and that's a new low, and you're bouncing up. Now you need to make a higher than this one, so it should be about 23. That's turning bullish. Now that's on a monthly basis. Now you can step back, step back, step back and see the macro scenario. You were here, yes, we agree, 80, 90 range, and came all the way back down. So that's from October. So those who are saying this is short term, blah blah blah, you need to understand October, November, December, Jan. We are here in the mid of Jan. So it has been like 3.5 months of consolidation in that perspective. Now you step even back and you look at the entire year, and yes, we had this, we went lower, we came back up. So right now, if you observe this, you're getting a rounded bottom pattern. That means you are going to fluctuate in this. Now go to the maximum one, and that shows you the trend. Whenever you are here, there is a ton of opportunity in the market. Now I'm going to show you those. If you remember, last time when we talked about this, we talked in detail. Say 3 days ago when we were talking about in this video about the alts. Is it actually going to bleed? Is it actually going to give you opportunities and all? We talked about this, where we are, and historically that's been the bottom, right? We go up. Then before that, 3 days before that, so 6 days before, we were talking about this huge opportunities. Then Bitcoin sell-off is going to give you a ton of stuff. Now you go to the market, you look at the market, and it's like green, fine. So you go on a 24-hour basis to see how the coins are performing, right? So in the first 100, you see like Rose is doing good, CVX is doing fine, Harmony 1 is doing great, all those stuff there, fine. Now we look at the volume. The volume for CVX is really lower. Okay, fine. But when you look at it for Harmony 1, it's in millions, tens of millions. Then you look at Rose, it's 5 million buy, 7 million sale, that kind of stuff. So it's actually varying like this, and you move on to second hundreds. And you see a ton of opportunity there again, moving up, slowly to the upside. And you see coins are doing fine. So you can go and do this all over throughout. And you can see a lot of them doing fantastic stuff, right? But you need to also understand, you have the ability to understand this happening in the market. Say, especially when we look at XRP, we were talking about this. We were talking detailed about this in our previous video, saying you have to watch this, we are going to break this, and we broke that. Then we told, look at this particular level, that's 0.7, where we may get a bounce and we need to go back up to test this range first. Now that's the broken range, right? The short-term trend. We need to break that above, and then we do have the moving averages. So now you need to actually look at the market. You need to actually understand what it's going to do in Bitcoin. Then you come back to short-term, long-term for Bitcoin. Then come look at what it's going to do in the Bitcoin dominant side of this. Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? What's the possibility there? Are you directly becoming a bull? Or is there something bearish in between for another correction and then go higher? We need to talk about that, right? So let's do it. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So yes, we do see opportunities in the market. Now, if you are looking at this, you can see a lot of bullish news coming into the market. So this is Jan 11. You are getting this one, Iran to allow crypto payments for international trade. Then you watch this one, Bitcoin matured to an integral part of digital asset revolution. That's from IMF. Now, these are news which you can't ignore, right? And it's recent news. Bitfarm buys 40 million Bitcoin. Now, that's in Jan 10, 3 days back. Right after we dropped our video, we were talking about this. People are going to buy. And if you see people buying 40 million, 100 million worth of bitcoins, they're entering into the market, buying the dips. They're not entering into the market. These are big guys with, a lot of researchers, traders, investors in them. And if they are putting that much amount of money, they're averaging down. Their cost basis was say 57, 55, whatever. Now they have an opportunity to buy near 40 and they are doing it. Then German neobank is allowing to trade cryptocurrency is going to come, right? Then you look at now the market itself is showing you a lot of positive news. Now this one I'm kind of critical about this, thinking Ethereum is a network which is not scalable, and if you're talking about this, and even if they are going to try this over this decade or the next one, you need to understand that network is not scalable. They are talking about moving on to 2.0 from 2015, 2016, but it's 2022 and we haven't seen anything. And if you look at the adoption rate, yes, people are going on and building other works, but you're going to see entire stuff here moving towards this. Now, what is the narrative which is given to you? Ethereum is going to blast through the roof, so go into it, right? Now you need to think, okay, is it actually going to do that, or is it kind of like they want to sell, it's not going to give you that much of upside? You need to think what is the narrative and what you're going to do. Then now this is actually interesting part. Legendary investor says he has 50% of his net worth in Bitcoin. So now this is not Anthony Pompliano, the Bitcoin maximalist, but this is another investor saying the same, right? So when Pom says, okay, 50% of my net worth in this one, the traditional investors, gold bugs go crazy. But right now you can see things happening. Why? Because the world is rolling out. Now, some of the opportunities like the say Rose, we are now doing fine. Over this last week, we are doing 40%. We are somewhere around 18% in last 24 hours. So this is what we observe, right? Say December 7, a week back. Now I'm showing you because say a week back, we were 40% down. But right now, you can observe what changed. So you had a pattern where you are following this trend line and you had a wick, right? You came back into the trend. So that's why for my members, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good opportunity. You're going to eye towards 0.5, 0.6. Now you come, look at the price. This is what you observe. You came down, and if you are looking at that chart correctly, you are going up to that range where we discussed. Now that's how you understand the opportunities coming in the market, looking at the indicators, trend and pattern. So now that's one, Rose. Now there's another one, ETN. While observing the charts, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity. If you look at this once, twice, then it repeated that here again by July, then it went up, but it didn't make another high. It came back down, but it did not make another low. It was slowing down there. Now this is a weekly chart, right? So on a daily 3-day, I was observing and it's slowing down. So that's why I put this chart for my members 3 days back, saying it's not a month back, 2 months back, 6 months back. 3 days back, I was saying, okay, this is an opportunity. Now you go look at ETN, and this is what you observe. That was the bottom. You just bounced. So if you are putting this into perspective, what you need to understand is, yes, you also can do this. Just understand which bottom is being a support, whether it's a rising one. Here, it's a rising trend line. So the rising trend line support gives you an idea here. Most probably you're going to bounce, and you did. Now, if you are trading this asset, you are looking for what can be my possible upside. So you're just trying to connect these top 1, 2, 3. Now that's a valid trend line. So your bounce can be somewhere close to this one. So that's how you observe trades. That's how you observe what you're going to do. Say property, when you go look at the market, you are kind of moving on to different markets, moving on to different assets, looking at all of them. Yes, these are moving, and there are like 10,000 coins, so you won't be able to jump on all of those to take benefit of those, right? So when you come back, some takes more time. If you have time, you would be doing great. See, this was on Jan 3rd, 10 days back, right? We were talking about this. We are going towards the support, and it's a healthy move even if we are going to revisit the support zone. Now you come look at what it has done. We came back, retested the support zone and bounced. That's a huge bounce. Boom, it broke through that one. So if you are in the market trading these positions, you're also able to understand that there is a possibility that this is going to happen. Possible in head and shoulder coming in, MACD crossing, getting around at bottom. Then what happens in the price? Boom, you play the same stuff. So if you are watching through this, you can observe you are looking at a possibility. Now, yes, this is market. You do have the factor risk there. Now, as a trader, the question is, are you looking for like 100% to the downside and 100% to the upside? Or are you looking for like 15-20% to the downside and 100-200% to the upside? So this is what we anticipated here. Now, the pattern was not confirmed by that time, but right now, that's happening. So if you are among these guys who are trading, you can also do this. Just go to Google, type in, learn the patterns, trends, and come back. That's going to help you make money in the market. Now, if you are like, okay, I don't have too much time, but I'll try to learn these patterns so that in future I can do this myself, then for the time being to learn these, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where we do a ton of charts on a regular basis. Say on a week, you get like 100 charts. Now that's confusing for those guys who are not interested in learning, but those who are looking to learn get to learn patterns, trends, possibilities. What is the pattern which you should be eyeing at? What should be something which you look at the macro level? How to understand where to buy, how to understand where in the market cycle we are, right? So that's what we are doing last week, because we were thinking that this is going to be the bottom. We want to know which assets are close to the support. That means the maximum opportunity zone. So we started doing that from Jan 9, right? That was like the lower end of fear and greed index, and I think it's better to know which asset stands where in the cycle and close to the support range, and that's what we did. And when we go back to the market and look at it, yes, that is working out well. So now, jumping onto Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin, this is what really is happening in the market, right? We bounced from here, but don't go super optimistic. Yes, we came back, touched that 40k mark, which we were talking about for some time. Now the good thing is it bounced, but the bad thing is we have a resistance. Now, as soon as you cross above the resistance, you need to also cross above the moving averages, which are going to cross to the downside. Now, here if you observe, the red one is 50-day moving average and the blue one is 200-day moving average. So red crossing blue is actually a death cross. But last time, if you look at the golden cross, you were going to the downside. If you remember, we have talked about this in detail. Always go find that. If it's going to go cross to the upside, most likely you're going to come back down and then go up. All right. So here I was about to cross to the downside. So chances are it's going to come back up somewhere close to 50, 60 and then go revisit 40. Now I'm not sure. No one knows what's going to happen in the market. This is invalidated if the price is able to make a higher high and a higher low. That means the trend is changing, right? It can be even like this. You make a bottom here, you come high, you come low. Now it's not a higher high, but this is a higher low, which shows there is something changing in the trend. Then you come back and make a new high, which is a higher high compared to this one. So the trend changed, right? If you're observing the market, you get to do the same. Now, step back, look at the market. What is it doing? We have moved up and down from this zone many times. That means this zone has been respected from a long time. So for Bitcoin, that means if you are able to bounce from this zone, you can go visit up to 48k, where your moving average on a weekly is. And if you're breaking that one to the upside, there's no doubt you're becoming more bullish. So putting that back into the perspective here, you don't actually need to break 50,000. Now, yes, on a daily you do, but on a macro, if you are crossing about this range of 48, that itself is turning you super bullish. Now, on a monthly, this is what you see here: a mother candle, then 3 candles to the downside. So the scenario which we talked about here, you drop that scenario here. What if this particular candle is moving up and closing at that 46, 48 range? You're going to get a green candle there. So getting this green candle here means there is another probability that it can continue, or there is another probability that another candle which is opening after that can move like this. We don't know, but that really is a possibility there, right? We are observing the trend. So right now, when you talk about the possibility of double top, which is happening like this, yes, it is there, but if you manage to bounce from here and cross above that one, you kind of see a double bottom, right? How do you observe that? You just look at this. You made one here, you went up, you came back down, you're moving up. So first one is here, second one is here. So textbook pattern says that's how you observe patterns. Now, coming back to XRP, why? Because we are heavy on XRP. We talked about 0.7 as a possibility. Now we reached that level kind of, and then bounce back. But when you're bouncing back, don't become ultra bullish now. Why? Because this is the support level which we broke on a short-term basis, because people tend to be more short-term than long-term. So you need to understand what the market can do. You may retest this range, say 0.8, 0.83, that region, and you may actually have a little bit of correction there too. Now, if you don't, that's positive, that's great. Why? You can just delete all these lines and look at another positive scenario which is turning out. Say this is your ultra short term where you are kind of breaking to the upside. So now for that, your roof comes close to this range, which is around $1. Now, as you move through that, understand this area has been a support for a very long time. You just take that range and go back and you'll understand what we are talking there, right? This range has been acting as a support resistance zone for a long period of time, right? Resistance, support, 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 support. So yes, it's a valid line. So as you go back, you can have a possibility you're going towards that dollar mark. So what does that mean? On a medium to long term basis, on long term basis, macro level, this means you have a ton of upside, right? Now, to get that upside, yes, you need to cross through this one, which is acting as a trend line from some time now, which is testing your patience, my patience, and we are all inside this. So that is one of the reasons why I told the 0.7 mark has horizontal level of support, trend line level of support, and you are getting that one now. Now that's on a 3-day chart. You move on to a weekly and you see the RSI is near the bottom. It is close to that bottom range where we have spent a lot of time when we were in the bear market making the bottom, the lows, right? The lower part of the cycle. We were there. We didn't go way lower than that. Couple of times we've wicked, yes, but we came back immediately into that range. Now we entered into that range, so we may bounce back, but before we bounce back, you need to have a breakout in this one. Now we are getting close to that, right? We don't have too much of an upside in this one, but it's easy to break higher in that level. So if we break, that's bullish. That's ultra bullish. Now, why am I saying this? Because here you can see the Bitcoin dominance went up, but it got resisted by the 50-day moving average. It tried to move above, but it got rejected. And it's back at this level. Now it's a support. But if you get this candle moving to the downside, why do I say that? You come here, you look at a lot of altcoins. They are moving like 40, 50%, 10%, 15% on an average. And then you come look at Bitcoin and you see like, okay, 3%, 4% move, which is not bad. But compared to the altcoins, it's not doing great. So automatically, the dominance is going to reduce. And as it go down through this level of previous low of 39.5, 39.1, say below 39, you're going to see a lot of money going on to the altcoins and altcoins blasting through the roof, which you don't want to miss. Why? Because this is the pattern, the cup and handle pattern, where you're going to break to the upside. So if you are able to break above this, that's ultra bullish, super bullish. But if we get rejected here, you can watch for another correction. We don't know, but this week, next week, we are going to get that decision. Now remember, it's just 10 days. If you have already waited for this long, now when your portfolio is bouncing back up 10, 20, 15%, then it's actually fine. You can sit there and watch your portfolio, right? And then look at assets, look at markets, and understand the system. And once you understand the system, this is going to make you easy to make money. You come back here and you look at what's happening outside of this. Think, is your money way better in the bank, or is it better in assets? Now it can be anything. If you want to go for gold, silver, that's fine. But I'll say, this is not an age of war, and I won't say there won't be a war, but maybe 5-10% in gold is fine. But putting everything there or in the bank is going to be something dramatic for you and your purchasing power. Because this is literally happening right now in the world. And if this is the situation in US, guys, remember what's going to happen in other countries where they are also printing and doing the same, and they have a lot of debt. This is going to come to you as well. So if you are in the market, that's great. But understand the market, because it shouldn't hurt you. You should be able to make profit from that. So again, if you want to learn and know where the opportunities are and where you should get out, where there can be a consolidation, where there can be, a correction downside, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. So I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.